This is Angie, and she built Shade Room, one of the world's biggest celebrity platforms with over 42 million followers using just her phone.
The Shade Room.
Barack Obama here, coming to you from the Shade Room.
I already had nothing. I was already at the bottom. Everything was not working. I was never a school person, and so I suffered through college. Very shortly on, when I was 6 years old, my dad killed my mom.
Wow.
In LA is one of the drugs, parties, all this type of stuff. I was really into some things. Sometimes I look at that old person and I say, whatever she had, I want now.
Today, she shares how she turned online gossip into a multi-million-dollar media empire.
In the beginning, Instagram shut us down. I remember that was one of the darkest times because I thought this promising career is wiped away from me.
Would you say some of your hustle spirit is from being a Nigerian?
Absolutely. We don't carry last.
Hello. Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Your house is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
I think if you probably live here, you probably don't go out as much. Do you go out a lot? Because
I do spend a lot of time.
Everything.
I do spend a lot of time at home, but I like to go out too. My name is Angelica Nwandu. I am the CEO and founder of The Shade Room.
How long have you been living in LA? Or were you born here?
I was born here.
Oh, wow.
I was born and raised in LA.
What was that like growing up in LA?
So both my parents are from Imo State. They came from Nigeria in the 80s. My mom was a nurse and my dad was all kinds of things. He was a professor, he was a realtor, all of these things. And very shortly on, when I was 6 years old, I had a tragedy in my family. So my dad killed my mom. Yeah, wow. There's 5 of us, all 5 sisters. You know, he was very abusive, so he killed my mom while we were in the home, that day. And so after that, I feel like my experience in LA was very traumatic because we went to foster care. My uncle wanted to take us to Nigeria, but the courts asked us where we wanted to go. And kids not knowing, because my uncle is a businessman in Nigeria, and he's like, we can take care of you, you can stay with family. They gave us as kids the option of staying in America or going to Nigeria. They didn't ask our family. And we chose to stay in America because that's all we knew. We were like, we're staying here. Yeah. So because we chose to stay here, we had to then go from foster home to foster home. So it was very rough. Growing up. Definitely rough growing up.
Wow. I didn't know this part of the story, so that is I'm just learning about it now. How would you say growing up, because you mentioned foster care. Do you remember what that was like? Oh,
of course. That was from age 6 to age 18. I think we were in 5 different foster homes. It was a lot of abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, just violence, right, that we experienced. Then me and my sisters were broken apart. So the 2 older ones, I lived with them for maybe 4 years and they had to go to a different home. But me and my sister that's right above me and right under me, we stayed together. We made a pact. We were like, we're not gonna separate. Yeah. We're gonna be together for the whole experience. So it was very crazy because I grew up in different environments. I had a Nigerian foster mom at one point, so I would be connected to the culture and go to African church, Igbo church and all of that. Then I had a Black American foster mom. At one point, I think I was in 8th grade. I was around 13, 14. A wealthy white woman said, "I want Black kids." It was during the time, I don't know if you guys know Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, I know.
She was getting Black kids.
Oh,
so this woman was wealthy and she was like, "Oh, Angelina's getting, African children. Here are 3 African girls here in America." So she's like, "I want you." So then when she got us at 13, then we moved to Bel Air, which is a really rich neighborhood here. Yeah, so then we started living rich life. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that at that time, that was the first time that I had seen that life. You took me from Inglewood, which is out here is a bad neighborhood. Inglewood, not anymore, they gentrified it. But back then, Inglewood was kind of rough. I was living off of Slauson, which was very rough. And then she takes us into her house and we're in multi-million-dollar house, and so the lifestyle had changed. And it was only for 2 years we lived with her. But when I got to experience that life, I remember saying, I'm gonna have a house like that. I'm gonna live like this because my eyes were open to seeing that, you know what I mean? And then we moved and At one point, we lived with our cousin a little bit. So we were all over the place for sure. Yeah.
Wow. So now going to that, what led to you eventually deciding to build like social media, building a platform? When did you start building Shade Room?
So it wasn't through that experience. I still have my cousins and my family. You know, on the weekends, my cousin would pick us up and all that. So I still had Nigerian influence. And so they would tell me, you know, when you go to college, first of all, I had to go to the same college they went to, which was Loyola Marymount. All my family went there. I had to go there. And then they said, you need to be an accountant. You know, Nigerians, they'll tell you like this.
Accountant,
doctor.
Yeah,
my sister went to school
lawyer.
for nursing. My other sister went to school for accounting. I went to school, you know, so I had to go for accounting. But when I went to college, every professor that I knew would say, you're a writer. You're not supposed to be in this field. And so I suffered through college.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean?
What were you studying? What were you studying in college then?
Accounting.
Accounting.
Business, but accounting, emphasis in accounting. And I suffered because I hated accounting. I was never a school person, you know? But then when I graduated, barely graduated, but when I barely made it out of college, I went to go work as a bookkeeper. I was making $13 an hour, which out here is very hard to survive. Then one day, I just said, I'm gonna be a writer, because I could not see the rest of my life doing accounting. You know, I wasn't gonna sacrifice my life. I said, if I'm poor, okay, whatever, like I wanna be a writer. So I started writing a script with this woman named Jordana Spiro. She's an actress. So we were both trying to create a movie. Started writing a script, and then it went to Sundance. It made it into
Sorry,
Sundance.
how old were you at this time when you wrote your first
I was
script?
after I had graduated from college.
Okay.
This was in 2013. I was like 23. 2 years out of college.
2 years out of college.
I decided no more. And then the head of Sundance, when she met me, she gave me a grant. She said, here's $5,000 to write. And then my boss called me and said, if either you do this or you pursue writing, or you're gonna have to quit. Because I wasn't at work. I was going to Sundance to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I quit that day. I took the $5,000 she gave me and used that to kind of pay my bills a little bit, but it was only, you know, my rent was already like $950 a month. So that went away really fast, but it helped me to have confidence to quit, you know? And then while all my friends were in law school, grad school, I was broke. You know, I was at home. Even though I was working on a movie, your first movie, you don't make money on the movie. Like it was an independent film. There was no real money there. So I'm at home all day looking at the sites, you know, the gist, you know what I mean? And then I would call out my friends while they're in school, because I couldn't get into grad school. My grades were too low. And I had bad testing scores, so I couldn't get into grad school. I would call my friends and tell them the gist. You know what I mean? And they were like, oh, okay. And they were like, why don't you start your own site? You, every day you call us with what's happening here, what's happening there, just start your own site. So that day, I said, I'm gonna start it, but I was just playing. I wasn't really serious. I didn't think this was gonna become this, you know?
When you said site, was that like a website, or was that on Instagram, or that was just a website to start?
It was on Instagram.
On Instagram, okay.
I didn't have money to, by the time that they told me to start, I was spending the money. I was broke. I was really broke. I was facing eviction.
Oh wow.
Yes, I didn't have money.
What kind of apartment were you staying in? The $900 apartment?
It was a bad apartment. It was in the hood.
In Inglewood?
No, it was in Hawthorne.
Hawthorne. Okay.
It was in Hawthorne. It was bad. I saw people get stabbed and beat up outside.
Really?
Like, yeah, I had to testify in court because I was a witness.
Really? Were there shootings in that area?
Yes, it was bad.
Wow.
It was bad. It was like roaches. It was just a really bad apartment. I couldn't pay my rent. You know, like life was tumbling. I was very sad. But when my friend told me that, I said, well, listen, there's nothing I can lose by starting. I didn't have money to build a website, so I started on Instagram. But that was a big move because at the time, nobody was going to www. anymore.
Was that 2013?
This was 2014.
2014, okay.
Yeah, no one was going to like www.
Yeah.
Everybody was starting to get their news from social media. Like people would say they would just share articles on social media, you know? So the websites were going down at that time. So it was a bad time to go into media. But because I started on Instagram, it was revolutionary in that sense that it changed. Now people could just get it in their news feed versus going to the website. And then I just came in at a good time to do what I was doing, and it blew up almost instantly.
Really? Wow. So do you remember what your first post was?
Yeah, it was Real Housewives. So a lot of my content was Black American content because, you know,
That's what you know,
that's where
yeah.
I grew up in. That's what I knew. You know, Real Housewives of Atlanta, on reality TV, you know. So
yeah.
I was just giving my take on it. And the first week, I probably was on there 24/7, working 24/7 every single day.
Really?
Because I was so excited about what I was doing.
Yeah.
This was what I did naturally, so
Yeah.
it was very easy. And then after the first week, we had 10,000 followers.
Really? After the
Yes.
first week?
After,
Wow.
because it was new.
New, yeah.
It was a new idea, and people were catching on quickly. They were like, "What? We've never seen this." You know, it was just different. And the name was called the Shade Room. And back then the logo was a woman. Like, you know,
Like,
people
yeah.
love it. You know, people love that
Yeah.
type of stuff. So yeah, 10,000 within 6 months. It was like 500,000 because I was working really hard, but I had a talent for this.
Was it only you behind
It
it?
was only me at first.
Okay.
For the first 8 months, it was only me because I couldn't afford to hire anybody. But I would work so hard. I remember I would be driving and pull over on the freeway and post every time. You know, back then the sites would only post in the mornings every morning.
Yeah.
I would post every hour. You know, so I was changing up how people get news. 24 hours. I would post every hour. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so it was so new that people were catching on, and word of mouth, and people were like, "Have you seen this site?" Celebrities started posting it, like, "Have you guys heard about this site?" And then it just kept spiraling. And then New York Times said, "Let me do an article on you." 6 months in, I sat with New York Times and they said, "Instagram's TMZ." You know, and it blew up, and it just, you know, so it was like, before that I had a business I tried, a fashion business, and I had to close it down in 6 months. I don't love fashion. I just kept trying things. I tried the script, I tried the fashion. I had to close it down because I wasn't making any money. Then I tried this, and then it hit, you know, so, yeah.
How did you sleep, first of all, during that period?
I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep. There was no need for sleep. I was passionate. I loved what I did.
And it kept pushing.
Working was easy. And if you know that feeling when you start something new and you could feel it.
Yeah, I know
you see
that
the
feeling.
vision, you
I
know,
that
and
feeling.
you're like, this is gonna be big. It's exciting, especially when you spend so long feeling like nothing was working.
Yeah.
You know,
so when
like,
you saw the momentum, you were like,
when I saw the momentum, I said, I have to run after this, because how often do you feel that? You get that momentum. So I put my all into it. 8 months, I barely slept. I almost drove myself crazy. But it was worth it. Every day I look back, I'm like, thank you, I did that. You know, it was worth it, so.
wow, 8 months. Did you know that you were going to find a way to monetize it then? Or you didn't know?
At that point, I had 500,000 followers, but no advertisers. I didn't know how to monetize. So at that time on Instagram, influencers were coming up and they would post like different brands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I'm an influencer.
Yeah.
You can't see my face, but I'm an influencer. I have like, you know, a lot of fans that follow this site.
Angie is just about to tell me one of the most important factors that turned this simple idea into a multi-million-dollar company. But before we continue, I would love to thank the sponsor of today's video, Nomad eSIM. If you're a traveler like me, you know that whenever you travel to a new country, your SIM card stops working. And for this trip, I had to get a new SIM card at the airport before I could access the internet. And interestingly, they overcharged me. Getting a new SIM when you land in a new country is very stressful, and there are times where I've gotten stuck in a new country where they don't speak the same language as me. I've also had cases where I couldn't book accommodation or request an Uber just because I didn't have internet access on my phone. Well, that is until I discovered the Nomad eSIM app, which allows me connect to the internet without the need of physical SIMs. It works in over 200 destinations worldwide, giving me the best rates and eliminating my roaming fees. All I needed to do was download the Nomad eSIM app from the Android or iOS store, choose my country, select a data plan, select the number of days I need it for, input the discount code, and just like that, I was connected to the internet. If you love to support this channel and elevate your travel experience by getting an eSIM to make your trips more enjoyable, click the link below and enter the code Aina at checkout, and you get a 20% discount on any plan or destination. Now let's jump right back into Angie's story.
You can't see my face, but I'm an influencer. I have like, you know, a lot of fans that follow this site. So I put up a post and I said, $75 ads. You know, I didn't know what to charge. So I was charging $75. I said 70, because this was the day that I was gonna get kicked out of my apartment. If I didn't come up with the rent, I was gonna get kicked out. So I said I have to find a way to make money today, right? But I knew I had something that I could make money on. So I just posted a post and said $75 ads. You know, if you wanna be on a shade room, just email me. That day I made my rent. You know, because there was a lot of brands that
In
said,
one day?
In
Wow.
one day. They said a lot of brands had been following and they wanted to see how to get on. They just didn't know how. Of course, the prices were too low, you know, but it was enough to pay my rent. And, you know, and so then from there, I hired my first employee. I was moving at a, you know, one thing at a time, yeah.
How would you say it felt when that first paycheck came in for you?
I was dancing. I didn't even have my own PayPal account at that time. So I had to use my sister's. And so my sister, everybody, all my family was like, what is this thing that you're doing? Like, where's the money? You know, you're still suffering. I'm still begging for $40, but I have this big platform. So I used my sister's PayPal account. And when she saw the money coming, she said, oh my gosh, what is this that you have that in one day you made your rent? You know, it felt good. I was dancing. I said, I knew. But the whole time, even when I was broke, as I was doing this, I knew it was going to be big because I could tell it was on fire, you know? So I was very happy.
What position are you in your family? Are you the fourth born?
The fourth born.
Fourth born, okay. How would you say your journey has evolved from that first moment? Has it just been smooth sailing all the way to now?
No.
Yeah. What are some of the challenges you faced along the way? Plenty.
What? Okay.
What was one memorable challenge that you faced, and kind of like how did you overcome that?
So when I first started, I was wild in the way that I would report. Okay, I was wild. So in the beginning, Instagram shut us down. After amassing 600,000, Instagram deleted us. Right? Wow. I remember I was in the airport and they, you know, every people coming, they're like, what happened to the Shade Room? It's gone from Instagram. And so imagine, I found a way to pay my rent. I'm like, I'm happy, I'm excited about my future. And all of a sudden they get rid of us on Instagram. Now, when that happened, I didn't realize how much attention the Shade Room had gotten from mainstream media. Everybody was posting laughing. BuzzFeed did an article, CNN did an article.
Oh, wow.
They were like, see, this is why you don't build platforms on social media. They could just take it away. And like everybody wanted to interview me. So I remember that was one of the darkest times because I thought, finally I found a way to get out of this promising career is wiped away from me. And I remember in that moment I said, okay, I have a decision. Am I gonna quit or I can try again, you know? So I opened up the account and I had to start again from 1 follower.
Really?
I had to start brand new. After 8 months of building and not working, I had to start brand new.
Were you able to get the same username?
No, so for years, for years, it was the Shade Room Inc.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to change the name because I couldn't get the same username. But what happened was interesting. Because they were laughing, because everybody was laughing, because everybody was saying hi, you know, they got deleted from Instagram. Yeah. People like blacklisted things. They like things that are banned. So they were showing their audience and their audience said, what's the Shade Room? They didn't even know what the Shade Room was. But because they were writing these articles, everybody wanted to know what the Shade Room was. So in the article they would say, and then they had to start over from 1 follower, you know, and this is their new handle, right? We built followers faster the second time.
Because the negative press
Because the negative press, because everybody said, oh, if they're bad enough to get deleted from Instagram, this must be something. So then it took 8 months to build the Shade Room the first time. The second time, 3 months to get the same. It was bigger. It was going more viral, so it was interesting. Yeah.
Let's go back a little bit to like before even the Shade Room, and during those times when you were still figuring it out, you know, trying out the fashion stuff, it wasn't working, trying out even the scripts, like trying to make a movie. Yeah. What would you say kind of like kept you going? Where would you say that resilience came from? Was it like a belief that you had that it was going to work out, or what would you say kept you going?
It was both. Sometimes I believed, sometimes I was depressed. Sometimes I thought my life would turn around, sometimes I thought it would never turn around. It would swing back and forth because the reality was that everything was not working. Before I wanted to be a writer, I was an accountant, then I tried to take the LSAT for law school. I bombed it, I performed very low. I tried to take the GMAT, I performed very low. There was jobs I tried to get outside of accounting, they wouldn't hire me. I even tried to get a job at a yogurt place, Yogurtland. Wow. Even Yogurtland wouldn't hire me, and I have my bachelor's degree, right? Yeah. So those times I was very depressed and sad, but then every now and then it's almost like I would see the future. Or I would see a vision of what God could have for me one day. And then I would get up and, go. At the end of the day, the way that I saw it was I already had nothing. I was already facing eviction. I was already at the bottom. So if I just tried things, what was the harm in that? I didn't even have a job at that point. So what can I lose now? So it was easy to try things. And even now, where I'm at now, sometimes I look at that old person and I say, whatever she had, I want now. Because now it's not that easy. Because now I have bills. Now I'm taking care of family. I'm taking care of, friends.
Yeah.
Now I have, nonprofits and organizations I take care of. I have 40 employees. So
40?
yeah,
Wow.
so when I want to move now, you know what I mean? It's so much more to lose. It's 40 families that I'm helping.
You're helping out.
Yeah, exactly. So
I get it. It's like driving a big ship. It probably takes more effort to turn it, and there's a lot of people on it. But it's a speedboat, you could just be the only one in it.
That's why I said that, I use that analogy, but I don't say speedboat, I say a truck.
The truck,
a big truck.
Yeah, a big truck, yeah.
A little car,
you can move.
A big boat. Not only can you gotta watch out for the road, the danger.
Turning,
so that is what it feels like,
What was the decision? Was there any decision process that made you decide to be behind the scenes? Because a lot of people know Shade Room as the brand.
Yeah.
Many people might not necessarily, like Shade Room is more popular than you as a person.
Oh, for sure. Nobody even knows me. And I love it.
So was that intentional, or was that something that just happened along the way?
It was intentional because my original dream was to be a writer, but not this kind of writing. This was something that, again, I never saw myself doing this. I wanted to be in film, writing a movie, because I wanted to be a screenwriter. So I said, I can't be, in Hollywood being a screenwriter and then, doing this. So so when I did do this, I wanted to be behind the scenes. And I never wanted to be famous. I never wanted to be in front. I wanted to be a quiet success.
That's one of the best things, to be honest. You're quiet and you're successful and you have that. You can decide to show yourself if you want to, and you can decide to be behind if you want to. But when you're all out there, I think it's probably much harder.
Because now I don't even see, because I was reporting on celebrities, so I know what fame does. I knew what being famous would do. You don't get to take that off. Once you're famous, you're famous. Even if you lose everything, you're still famous. You just has been famous, But you're famous. People still know you, right? So for me, I like my privacy. I wanted to live a normal life. So for me, imagine if I had put my face in 29, you know what I mean? I would be, no. So I like it. But if I ever want to step in front of the camera, I could do that. But me, I just do like business interviews or like interviews about building, the company. And I see the benefit. People always tell me, you're not being smart. You should put yourself on everybody should know who you are. Everybody should connect you with Shade Room. But Shade Room is a business that I started. It wasn't my original dream. I want to do a lot of things. I want to I want to do movies. I want to do all these things. This is, to me, this is a tree to branch out into so much more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not my end all be all. So for me, there's so much more. I want to be known for what I built. That's it. You don't need to know if I'm dating. I just know what I built. That's it. That's good enough for me, so.
Last but not least, the most noteworthy media platforms to watch this year. It started as an Instagram account and has grown into a multi-platform powerhouse with over 42 million followers. The Shade Room has redefined how Black culture is seen, heard, and celebrated across media. Come on stage, Angie.
Oh my gosh. I didn't think anybody was gonna know what the Shade Room was when I got on here. But I just wanna say, have fun. Like, all of this is amazing. Thank you, Shorty Awards, but does it matter if you're not having fun? So here's to having fun.
When Shade Room started taking off and you started to hire, because it was just you, then you started to hire the first person, starting out to build your team. What was one of the most, important things you had to keep in mind to construct that team, the team that you started to build, which is kind of like what helped get you to where you are today?
Finances. I couldn't afford it. I had to get what I could afford. So how I built the team was to start with the people who make me money. So the first person was a salesperson.
Okay.
It was an intern for Sony. He got fired from Sony. I said, oh, come work for me. You know what I mean? You did a little bit of sales. He was kind of new. And he said, I'll work for you for free off commission. So it wasn't free, but it was like, he's like, I'll make commission. I don't get paid unless I give you a deal. So every deal that I made, he would make 15%.
Oh, wow.
Until he said, now when you can pay me a full retainer, he said, then we'll talk. So he said, but let me show you this month what I can do for you. Just give me 50%. That month, he made me some money. I gave him 50%. Until it was time for me to put him on retainer. I could afford to put him on retainer. Then after I made enough money, I then said, okay, let me hire a writer because I'm getting burned out.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I would have assumed you hired a writer first rather than a salesperson. But that's
well, I had to make money. You know, or else this thing was, you know, so I had to make money. To be able to pay my bills.
Pay your bills,
so I needed the salesperson first.
Yeah.
And I was the writer. And then once I got enough money, I said, okay, now I can pay somebody to help me write. So then I said, okay, now I'll get a writer because I was burnt out. I mean, remember, 8 months, got deleted, started over. I was like, if I keep doing this, I'm gonna burn myself out. So I had to get a writer, and then I would get another writer because the more content going out, the more money we can make, right? So then that's how I built. It was very strategic. Who is gonna help me make money? It wasn't until later when we started to establish that I could say, okay, let me hire a human resources. Let me hire, you know what I mean? Like I had to wait for those positions. At first it was just about money. How can we build step by step, you know, to get there? So,
So what would you say makes you grounded?
God, I think now when I first started the Shade Room, I didn't have a good relationship with God. And then when I started in the industry in LA is one of the like drugs, parties, all this type of stuff, I was really into some things. It wasn't until later when I realized the money and the success did not fulfill me. Even accolades, it didn't fulfill me, that I said I had to find God, because otherwise I was gonna like end it all probably. You know, I know that's a tough topic for, especially Nigerians, we don't talk about that.
No, I think it's important, but I resonate with you. I've spoken to people who kind of like have reached success and they also have that too. But I realize people don't talk about that enough.
You know why? Because when you have success, that's all that matters at that point. You start to get stuck in a world where that's all that matters. You know, the happiest people I know are broke, honestly. I'm gonna be honest with you. So they just have genuine happiness. The richest people I know are the most miserable people I've ever met. Because at some point you become in a box and that's all you think about is how do you stay successful? How do you know what I mean? So from there, once I realized that no amount of success is gonna actually feed my soul, I knew I had to find something. So God really does keep me grounded. And even when life doesn't feel like it's going the way, you know, like there's uncertainty or there's stress or there's all of the things that happen behind the scenes. Because I go through a lot behind. You gotta imagine, right? I'm reporting on people, powerful people. You don't think I go through things? But I think that God keeps me grounded because I realize, you know what I realized? No matter what happens, the biggest treasure I ever have, I could never lose it. And that's my relationship with God. That freed me because I always was worried about losing treasure. Everything else, you could lose it. True. Even if you have $1 billion, okay, maybe, well, I don't know. You know what I mean? $1 billion.
You can lose $1 billion.
You can, you can. I mean, Trump filed for bankruptcy. Right? Even if you have $1 billion, your relationship with God, you can never lose.
True.
So if you have a relationship with God, then what are you scared of? Because He can bring you back from the dead. He can bring you back. He can bring you back from the lowest point of life. And once you have that confidence, then it's like, okay. So that's where I think the joy is starting to come from. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, I get what you're saying. Yeah. What would you say is, as somebody, probably people who maybe have heard of you, they've heard of what you build, they're watching you now, what would you say is one of the, advices that you can give to somebody who is probably at that point where you were in, let's say, 2010, 2012, is going through similar things to what you went through? What's kind of like words of advice you can give to somebody who is out there? And maybe the person might be in LA, it might be in ATL, it might be anywhere in the US or anywhere across the globe.
If you have a good idea, try it. That's the best advice I could give, because so many people, they have great ideas, they just talk about it until the idea is done by somebody else. And somebody's gonna do your idea. I'm sorry. We all have similar thoughts. Somebody's gonna do your idea. Or the time is gonna, sometimes timing is really important. The time is gonna pass for that. I think that if you have an idea, the worst thing you could do is sit on the idea. Go and do it. Go and try it. Even if you don't have the resources, try the small version of it. You know, I couldn't create a website, so I did it on my phone. You have, life rewards those that actually do. So go do it. You know, whatever it is that you want to do it. And don't be ashamed, don't be embarrassed about starting from the bottom, because once you get to the top, everybody's gonna ask you what you did, right?
Yeah.
So whoever laughs at when you first start, don't worry about that. Don't worry about embarrassing yourself. Don't worry about putting yourself out there. Whatever idea you have, the ones that you can do within your own resources that you have now, go and do it. Or go find a partner. You know what I mean? Like, do it. Get it out of there. Get out there, because there's so many people that get out and actually do it. They may not even be better than you. They may not have thought about it first.
True.
They're just the ones that are hardworking. It's not the most talented people or the most genius people at the top. It's the people that have the most hustle. That, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. So like, I would say do it.
Would you say some of your hustle spirit is from being a Nigerian?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's in me. It's in me. We don't carry last. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? So I was going to hustle, and if I was going to be in the industry, I was going to be one of the best. I was going to be one of the biggest. I am Nigerian. Like, that's in my blood.
I have to show my skills now, you know. No, we didn't cheers yet.
If you ask me what I thought success was 12 years ago, I could give you a complete list. It was a house, it was a bank account with millions in it, it was cars, it was being able to take care of my family and anybody that needs me, giving back, all of that. Success now is joy, it's family, it's friends, and it's impact. So now it's not just about how much money do I have, it's about how much money do I give. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we started to rebuild schools in Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of schools that we have worked on to like help renovate. We started to build wells for water and all that type of stuff, and help churches with ceiling, fix ceilings and everything like that. And we have 6 scholarships at HBCUs here, because I also want to do work here, right? I talk about a lot of African American news, but also like, as TSR with Global, we have a large Nigerian audience, right? Now that actually is success to me, because I'm like, these things, when I'm gone, are gonna be things that have been done because of how I was blessed to bless others. Like that is that's what makes me the happiest, because I'm like, oh wow, people are impacted by the money that I have. If it was just me and my money hoarded to me, then what did I do? I don't care if I have $1 billion. What did I do?
Sure.
So that's success to me.
What's the goal or dream in like 5 years, 10 years from now with Shade Room and with everything you're doing? What's that?
The goal is we want to do events, right? We want to do events all around the world. We want to start getting into live concerts, live events. We want to start having a product. In media, if you don't have a product, like that's the thing, you have to have a product.
Yeah.
We want to start getting into production. We want to do programming, movies, film. I'm working on a script right now for short films and everything. We want to get into that. And we want to just build bigger. You know what I mean? We want to diversify. We want to acquire other brands, sports, beauty, everything. You know what I mean? To really expand. So that's the future, for sure.
That's beautiful. I'm inspired by your story.
Really?
Yeah,
I wish I could talk about your story.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after.
Okay.
Cheers to more success and more blessings. And thank you for having us at your place and sharing your story with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.